2, 1.
I tore that bottom panel off. Basically, it just had this little seam that kind of went over the top of here. It was spot welded all the way across. So I'm just gonna get rid of it. It also kind of made it up here so you can see how far down it was. But I plan on kind of bringing this curve up higher and then trying to get that bumper pretty close. Obviously, I'm kind of finding that this curve is the right one for the doors, but the doors aren't really that good. Like this one is fine. You know, pretty close. So like some weather stripping would actually hit, you know, maybe move that latch in just a touch. This one is far off. It's got a big old gap on this side. So I'll have to work on it. Obviously you can tell this door's been hit from the inside and pushed out. So maybe I could take this off and hammer that out as much as possible, and then I'll probably have to do a patch or something in here. So I might even just kind of open that up, hammer from this side, and then put a patch on, and then hopefully this isn't like crazy deep. But that's all the crap that came off here. But like I was saying, I kind of want, since the fenders are up 1.5, I kind of just want to bring that curve up tight. And I didn't really want to make all that anyway, so if I bring it down, I kind of want to leave this structure at least to here, but maybe I'll just kind of round this because the rest of this is looking rough in there too. I cleaned the rust off that dent so I could get a better visual. Someone smashed the crap out of it. I then tried to see what kind of metal is in the bottom of the doors. So I hung the bumper on, and I was gonna take a video and I totally forgot. So usually that bumper, these brackets are flipped upside down right now. But if you look in here, these brackets flip up. So what I did is I cut that piece off, you know, it sits down here, and obviously, like I told you, it's probably 3 inches long, deep. And I always thought these bumpers and everything just sit low on these, you know. And for the low riders, cool, but mine's not a low rider. And I don't want to make that panel. So I'm gonna leave it without that little panel there. The only downer is you do see these bracket pieces. So I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna do here. If I'm going to maybe just make a piece that just kind of like runs and smooths into here, but like doesn't go that far and covers this up. Cause some of this is getting cut off because it's not even holding anything. Pretty much anything right below this bolt that's going. Also, I will tell you, I kind of wouldn't mind if the bumpers were closer, but I don't know if I want to do that much work. And I feel like if I get closer, I'm going to want to narrow the bumpers too, so that it follows the same contour as the fender. And that's a whole can of worms I'm pretty sure I don't want to get into. Because I really want some chrome bumpers, and I definitely, my metal work is not ready to shorten one and get it chromed. And I don't want to pay for that because that's ridiculous. And yes, these are close. You can see, but the door is not hit. And you know, if it did, I could, you know, I could kind of slot that and drop it down just a touch. So I think I'm gonna run those brackets upside down and kind of, it'll bring that bumper up in the back, give me a little more clearance, you know, whenever I'm jumping rocks and off-roading this bad boy. So I kind of wanted to see it because I wanted to see how much I could cut out of this side and get it all to match. So, you know, baby steps on this thing, but I kind of just want to see what it's going to look like in here. The one thing I am noticing is that it's the way it was is really hard to get your bolts in. The other side's all smashed up. I can't even get the bolt in, and that's from me moving it. But I'm gonna have to do clearance some things over there. So got the fender on, and fenders doesn't butt up perfect, but like I was saying, I have a fender felt that covers up that gap. So I kind of want that gap because I want water to be able to seep down in through there. I got to make a patch for that. And I got to make some patches over here too, because the way it flows away, I I need more metal so that it can screw in and attach. And then this is that felt I got. It actually came with a bunch of other parts. I didn't buy it on purpose, but it's like this. It's just some black, with a little tube in there, and it sits over that so that you have about a 1/4 inch play to have that fill in that gap. So cool, exciting. All right, little update on the panel, inside panel. So I got it tacked up last night and this morning. Kind of worked on it a little bit. Not the best up in this top corner, but I was probably gonna make a little filler patch anyway because it wasn't the best originally anyway. So I want to fill that gap, and then I plan on running that door panel from the top all the way back. And I was gonna make a little ridge, but I don't think I am anymore. I think I'm going to just run like sound deadening, and it will fill up the ridge right here and the ridge right here, and then I'll stop it at the edges, and then I'll just run the panel the rest of the way and just try to butt it up with this line, and that will cover up the weld seam. And I might even run it all the way to the edge of the door, but I kind of a little hesitant on that, but I might do that. Not the easiest, I will tell you. It's like that panel, once you try to lay it flat here, that curve kicks out, which is actually what I want. If it was the other way, it would kind of really suck, because I'd have to like pie cut it and get it to go back, because I don't want it past where these mounts go. So last night I also welded up this little patch that's going in the back. This sits how that angle iron sits, and so it's gonna go right here. Plan is I'm gonna weld this top seam all the way across, and just hammer that ridge in and weld that up. I think what I'm gonna do for these like backside panels, like what's hanging off down there, is I'm gonna cut that all off at the bottom of the angle iron, and then I think I'm gonna make a little angle piece that runs down, and the same thing, it's either gonna mount to the bottom of the wood, or it might even sit in between that angle iron and the wood, and that will fill in the inside gap so you don't have air blowing up in here all the time. But also it'll let it be removable so that you can clean in there and not let it rust out. My main goal on this is I want it serviceable. I don't want 5 years down the road everything rusting out and have to do this all over again. So even though this metal is not the best, all this metal everywhere is not the best, but liking how it's turning out. I made a template and cut out the wheel wells, and the same size as these, but like I said, it's gonna be a flat top with a flat edge. But the one good thing too is, like, if you need it to bow in, like you need to stretch that metal in the bottom, you can just hammer and dolly these ridges, and it will spread that metal out. So it's kind of why I liked it like that. The next side, I'm sure will go way quicker after dealing with this for so long. It was just getting that tacked up was horrible last night by myself. I just don't have extra hands, and so I had to like tack a corner and kind of like move it and kind of press it in this corner. A little bit of a pain. I think I had to narrow these bumpers, so they stuck way out past this fender, but also they just look bad on there. So what I did already, these brackets are upside down, like I said. Well, I also moved them in about 1.5 inches. There's another hole in there, so I just want to see how it would be if I moved them in, because I'm gonna have to redo these brackets if I cut this down anyway, because the holes don't line up anymore, and this contour would hit this bracket. I think I'm gonna take about 7 inches out. Also, I threw 1 sheet of wood in. I need to get everything lined up, throw some bolts in, make sure everything's sitting in its spot. The body's all squared up now, and bolted down on the sides I can bolt down. So and now I can push this over enough so that it mounts up in the right spot, and then trim that to size. Obviously I left a little gap in here because there's a little angle iron piece that sits back in there. I think I can reuse the front one, but I'm gonna have to make a new rear one because the rear one is all rotted out. All right, well, I gotta wrap up this video. It might be a couple days off of the Suburban. We gotta go, pop a kid out. So, I started on this bracket. This is gonna be my bumper brackets, and that's gonna go inward on the frame, and then it basically, because I narrowed this rear bumper 7 inches, instead of mounting on the outside of your frame rails, it's gonna mount on the inside, and I wanted this. I wanted that reinforced anyway, so the bumper brackets will be on this side, and then I could still use the same mounting holes. And I don't know what I showed you, but I cut and welded that, and it's 7 inches narrower. It's still that chrome bumper just stripped down, and there's still a little bit of chrome hanging on for dear life, but maybe eventually I'll have it re-chromed or something. But it's actually in really good shape, except for not having chrome on it. Maybe later this week or next week or something, I'll finish that bumper, get that bumper sitting up high, and also because it doesn't have to go in pre-existing holes, I can kind of maneuver those mounts around a little bit. But once I put a hitch bracket on there, it'll be nice to have that reinforced. And like I said, I kind of wanted that bumper mounted so I can see what I need to make in the back. I also can see what looks right as far as curving and connecting this panel that's missing back here. And eventually I'll get to this passenger side. But bumper got me a little distracted. I also went and picked up some cheap little Harbor Freight shrinker stretchers. That way I can make a little C-channel piece, and then shrink and stretch and bend that inside channel that goes between the outside of the panel and the inside panel and fills in that gap. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys like the Suburban setup. I've been having a blast working on it. You can tell I've been struggling trying to talk myself into working on the 67 again. So Suburban is kind of my favorite to work on right now. So let me know what you guys want to see. Later.